Hey guys, welcome back to the live stream. Back in the shop working on Lone Star, and we are building the frame for the water system. So we're assembling this right now. Got the pieces cut. Didn't get this put together the way I wanted to during the break, so we're gonna do it right now. So if you guys have not watched this channel, we do DIY. I teach DIY van builds, so you can follow along with me on a professional build to see if you want to use these tips and techniques on your own personal DIY build. Today's live stream, it's not planned, there's no format or anything like that, it's just me working on the van. So without further ado, we're going to hop on over to the workbench and start putting this together. So what we've done earlier today in the other live stream is we went and we just did a final layout of where all these pieces need to go, got our measurements right. I had to redo this measurement. I had to add a quarter inch to that to lift it up because of where we had the 80-20 mount on the that holds the kitchen galley in. But essentially, this is the frame that's going to hold. This is the seat for the dinette. It holds the water tank, and then it holds two lagoon table mounts. Water pumps over here, and then all the drainage plumbing is back over here on this side. So what I'm doing right now is I'll explain a couple things that I'm doing. Probably not everything because I'm just going to kind of get in the zone here and start working. But I'm watching the chat, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop in the chat and ask away. So I'll probably narrate a little bit of it, then sometimes I might not. So what I'm doing here is this is a rear support. So we'll have a rear support for the water tank, and then this will be a front support. And then we've got these mounts down here. And so these longer black ones, this is because at the back I have a drain hose that's going to come down and then turn over to the side. So I can't have two supports like this because it'll interfere with the drain coming down. If you're DIYer, this should show you that you can confidently build stuff with wood in a van. You know, not everything has to be 80-20. 80-20 is pretty expensive. And sometimes it's not necessary. I found with the wood stuff, wood is much lighter. I think contrary to popular belief, the 80-20 builds that I've done, they're very strong, but they are very heavy. This piece will go, so imagine this is the front frame that the half-inch plywood is going to go and cover the unit. And then the water tank's here. So this piece is going to go back here, and then this is just going to cross over the drain line. So that's what this cutout's for. And then we got one that mirrors it up here at the front, and that is the cutout for the pump, where the PEX line is going to go in the pump intake. And again, this is not really structural pieces. This is just get down the basics. This is a seat bench to sit on that also houses the tank. And we just want to bolt this into the floor with these brackets, and that way the tank's not going to move. And then when we bolt the top of this into the side of the van, that's going to keep it from, jumping out. So what we're also going to do is make these two pieces removable in case we need to work on the van. Everything else is wood glued into place. So we have some wood glue. And so this frame will be permanently glued, but this, we'll make two marks here. This right here will have a Craig screw in it so that we can unbolt it from the sheet metal, and then we can bring this out if we need to replace this fitting in the future. So there's that one. So this guy is going to get, and I'm just using this 2x4 as a kind of like a right angle piece so that everything's nice and square. I'm going to put it in the van. Okay, so this is our bracket. We need to get 2 holes over here for the front. So this one's going to go, this one will probably go just like that. And then this one will go towards the back, just like that. And then we got our bottoms of our frame. And this, we redid the offset of these 2 pieces because we changed the position of our kitchen galley. So our kitchen galley came, I think it came closer in by 1/8 of an inch. So we shaved off 1/8 of an inch on these pieces so that when we put our face frame piece on here, it'll actually be nice and flush with the kitchen galley. And you probably can't see me over here, but I have a table-mounted Craig jig, and that allows me to put some Craig screw holes in here. If you're going to drill anything into the van, definitely use the Craig system. So if you guys haven't seen this before, essentially it drills 2 holes at an angle and they're precise. They match also the screw that you'll use with it. So there's a specific length screw for the distance and angle. So for example, for a 2x4, the recommended screw is a 2.5 inch screw, and this just goes down in here, and there's a little pilot hole in the bottom. So this will go here, and then you'll have another one. And then this, we'll be able to go in here with the drill and we'll be able to tie it into this frame when we're ready to do that. So this piece is just going to kind of go off to the side. After we get the pecs and everything done, this is like the last piece just to lock the tank into place. So we'll put that one up there. Same thing goes for this one. We're going to do 2 more screws over here on this side, screw holes. So this one will go up here, and we don't want to put these in yet because we want to make sure we dial in the back of the tank where that position is, and then we'll lock these into place right here. So next we're going to go ahead and assemble this piece. And we're going to work off of it. And then the bits for a Craig screws are these square bits. They come in a set with an extension and then a shorter piece. So the shorter piece is nice for like what we're doing right now, which is kind of bench top assembly. We're using a Type Bond original wood glue. We're not using the waterproof version. My personal research has said that the waterproof version is obviously good for outdoors, but the bond strength of the original is better. So we only want to wood screw or glue the stuff together that we know is going to be permanent. Now, if you're using 2x4s like I am, I go to Home Depot. They tend to have the most square 2x4s, which I know that's kind of 2x4s being square is kind of impossible these days, but Home Depot seems to have the best ones that I can find. A way that you can make sure that everything assembles good, even though if it's like 1/8 of an inch off, is make sure your measurements are just exactly perfect, just like you'd be cutting 80/20. Make sure these are exactly perfect. Same with these lengths. And then if you clamp it in and work on a nice flat surface, you can really square everything up, and it really doesn't become an issue after that. So I'm just going to triple check. And if there's any piece of 2x4 that has to that's kind of twisted, keep that twisted side towards the inside and not where your reveal panel is going to go. I'm gonna flip it over so that this one, the tables, or the wood is bending a little bit, so I need to make sure it smushes down. So you see this one's got a little bit of a raise to it. Also, if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, if say you're working on your van for the weekend, wait till the last minute to get your wood before you start cutting and using it. Because if you bring it from there to your house, if you're working in a garage that's not air conditioned, what can happen sometimes is that moisture can start to twist the wood. So over time, it's going to twist. So it might be nice when you're at the store, but as soon as you leave and go home, it'll start absorbing moisture, possibly. So try to work with the wood as quickly as you can. Now, I measured this piece up here, and it's almost, so it's about 1/16 off of 71.5. So I'm going to make sure that I bolt this one on, and then wherever this one lays coming straight down, that's where I'm going to hold it. I'm not going to twist it to force it. Hey Rod, you working on your van tonight? Thanks for joining us. Okay, like I was saying, we're going to flip this around so that we can get this side clamped down over here to work with. Then we'll bring this back in the van, and we'll line up the back of the van so that we can mark where our where these pieces go, and these will maintain our offset, and then we can measure from the tank. There's a support that I want to put here for the middle of the tank. It's just going to be basically two 2x4 blocks just drilled into here. But during this whole time, we got to make sure that we're aware of so this is just in the middle. It has no relation to where the lagoon tables are. But the lagoon tables, there's another piece of wood that's going to go in here, and it's going to come in there like this up against the tank. So we just need to find out where that piece is going to go. I want this to be in the center because when I bolt the panels on, think ahead when you're doing this. I want to make sure when I screw my black screws into this panel that they're nice and even. So I don't want to have this off to the side, and then if I drill in here to bolt the panel in, it's offset. The reveal is that it's got to go into something in the middle. And that'll make sense later. So this side is nice and flush for our face panel. Yes, I'm gonna go in, lay this up, and we're gonna mark these pieces. Okay, the back one's going to stay there. That will be permanent. The front one, this is just going to keep us until, this is just going to be temporary until we get everything square. And then it'll go away. This part back here will be cut, and that's going to allow us to put the lagoon table in here. Because right now, we can't put it in here. We're going to measure for a third piece, and that's going to go right by the kitchen galley. One piece of that support is going to bolt into the 80-20. I know you guys want to see it, but we'll have to zoom into it later. I'll go through the whole water system when we put it together. But right now, let's see, I need to cut that. Cut one more piece of wood. Okay, so the piece that's coming in is going to be 19 inches. I should already have a piece cut. That's 19. Yep, there you go. So we've already got the piece. It's right here. So that piece is going to go there. Now we can bring this piece forward like that. So we're putting 2 marks on here, one for where the 80-20 bracket needs to be screwed in, and then the other one where the Craig screws are going to go for this bottom piece. So we won't have a support here. The next support that we'll have is actually up here. So we need a 12-inch piece. And 12-inch, 4-inch, 12 and a 4. And then a 14 and a half. So the 14 and a half is going to come from the wall. The 4-inch piece, the 12-inch piece will connect to that and zig over, and then the 4-inch piece will connect it to this. And then we need, let's see, we need another 9 1/4. So 9 1/4. 2 4s, 2 12s. Do 3 9 1/4. The computer should make this not crazy loud, but I'm going to be on the saw back here, miter saw. Let me know in the chat if it doesn't duck the volume. Oh, hey, Linda. Glad you are watching. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Good to see it put together live. All right, so what I'm doing here, this is the front. Bunch of pieces here that are going to go in the van. I mean, it's part of the top part of the seat because we need structure at the top part for the tank, because at the bottom we can't, because that's where we're going to put all the plumbing. So we got a couple pieces here. So we got this is our 12-inch piece. It goes right here. So we got 12, 4. This will go here, but underneath. And then we got this one. So if we get all these together, we should have 20 1/8. Yep, 20 1/8. Man, I'm doing great. If you can work in even numbers as much as possible. I mean, the 1/8 inch, that's not what I'm talking about, but if you can try to make it even, that's what I would do. Okay, so this is going to zig like this. This one's going to go underneath here. So I'm just going to triple check that our width is still at 12. So, yeah. You guys can see this just fits in there just perfect. It drops right in. So we got that. So we got a 4, this, and then our other piece is going to go right there. And see, this opens this up so that we can put the table in. So yeah, really trying to, and using the, let me change the camera. Using 2x4s is nice, especially when you have this really super custom setup. Because if you mess up, it's just wood. Whenever I do 80-20, you can't mess up on 80-20. It's way too much. It's very expensive to make a mistake on 80-20. Okay. So go ahead and let's just do nice one at a time. You take your time, you'll get stuff done faster. You'll be less likely to mess up. Get another drill since I'm going to be going back and forth. see, 12 inches. All right, you guys in the chat are supposed to keep me straight here. Did the put the 12-inch piece on the opposite side. So redo. All right, now we're right. This is correct now. So we'll tie this in from this back side, but then when we get the other piece, and I know that's like silly taking this long on just pieces of 2x4, but again, that's the only downside about 2x4s is you gotta pay real close attention to make it square. It's cheap to work with, but Just, making it square is that's where it's hard. So this piece is basically the same piece we had before. That was the longer piece, but we need to make this jog so that the lagoon table can fit just like that. So this will actually get drilled into the piece right up here. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to unscrew this. So nice thing about Craig screws is we've already drilled through and now they have a hole that they're going into. So I'm going to re-glue this. I'll show you, we're filming. Because what we need to do is we need to actually bolt it to the frame piece first. And then come back on the back side. Because if we don't, then there's no way that we can actually bolt it in. You'll see here. 1 second. Okay, so that piece goes like that. This piece will go, so here's our glued in. So that's gonna go flush like that. Move the camera for a second. There we go. This is all the parts for Allison and Scott's build. It's in the queue, coming up next, right after Lone Star's done. So you see what I'm saying? I need to bolt this in first, like that. So let me just do that really quick. So when you're working with 2x4s, just take a pen and just scribe like right where it needs to be flush, and then bolt it in. Okay. So we got two more pieces here. We got this piece that offsets our distance on the side of the kitchen galley, and then we got another support piece right here. So we're gonna do the support piece next, and then we'll have this piece come out. Then we'll glue this, and then keep on going. So is this? Nope, that's not it. It's 19. All right, so our 9 1/4 piece is going to come here, just like that. I think our offset is a 1/2 inch, so gonna go ahead and put our 80-20 piece in here. Oh, thanks, Linda. That was very nice. Yeah, I like to do things precise. It's just, other than it being a good way to build things, it's, a van gets small really quick, and if you're off here, it stacks up to where you're, a half off or 3/4 of an inch later. So you really kind of have to do it every step of the way, so that what's kind of in my head actually gets created. No, thank you for saying that. That was very nice. Let's see, I need some washers. So here's a good example of kind of where two worlds come together. So what I'm doing right now is I've got my 80-20 aluminum bracket. So this will tie me. So this is going to go against the kitchen galley. And then this ties this frame into a piece of the front structure of the van. Then all the other brackets will hold it. You can use angle brackets and bolt them in the floor of your van. Just add things like this that go into the body of the van as much as you can. I know you can't do it everywhere, but don't solely rely on angle brackets going into the floor. Have something a little bit. It's like an insurance policy. But I went ahead and put this on now so I don't goof and drill the holes on the wrong side. So we got that piece, and then this is going to, let's go drill this one out real quick. The cool thing is if you build it this way, like I'm doing it, not that it really matters, but instead of the holes being on this side, so where you open this up and you can see, you can flip it to where you can minimize the amount of holes that you see in the van. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt this to this piece first so that I can bend it in to get it level. So I'll actually probably stand this up straight after I bolt this piece in right here. Now that sound is not me stripping the screws, it's the clutch. So I got it set on 13 on this drill. That's so everything just gets in here even. That's what I was saying. This piece was a little off, so it was a little up and a little out. So what I'm going to do is have put a 1/2-inch piece of plywood here. I think I got like a little piece, and I'll lay and clamp it on it, and that'll get me the right offset, and then I can get this installed nice and square over here. So it'll look something like this. So this piece came in a little too much, so I'm just going to go shave about a 1/16 off of this. All right, so we got our bottom piece square down here. And this is kind of where you just gotta feel it out a little bit. So if you're doing this DIY and you feel like you made a mess and you kind of screwed up, don't get on yourself too quick, because in the van, when you place it in the van floor in the Ford Transit or other vans, sometimes it's crowned. Sometimes it's tweaked from the factory, so it's not perfect. So if you make this perfect and you put it in the van's not perfect. So I make it perfect out here, and then I tailor it to the inside of the van. So if you're off just a little bit, when you put it in the van, you can probably fix whatever you did, as far as maybe if you cut something a little too shy, but instead of just redoing the whole entire thing, just Where is this? So what we're gonna do is, I'm just gonna put one screw in, and that's gonna tie us so that we're nice and center, or square. And then we'll come back and tie in this bottom piece. There. Okay, yeah, so. Okay, so that's our piece there. So now we can come in, we can dial this top piece in here. So this one that was off earlier. So as long as we get this one to be 5 inches or 5.5 inches, just clamp it down until it catches 5.5. All right, all right. Okay, that looks good. It's kind of coming in a little bit, but remember, when we put it in the van, we'll bolt this into the 80-20 and that'll bring it in. And so the last piece we got to put in is this piece. It's kind of coming all the way back to where we started. This piece is a little overkill, but I didn't. The piece that I put in here, I needed to offset 1.5 inches, and I didn't do that. So. Question is, can we even drill into the side? Just put one in there. Okay, so this, let's see if this makes sense to you guys. See, this, there we go. So we got the front of the tank right here, and there's another piece down here. But we need this pocket for the lagoon table to slide into. So the original design, so see how close that is? So the original design was to have a piece coming from here all the way across, which would make sense. That's just an easier way to do this. But the problem was, because of the width of the aisle, the pillow cushion, the offset, the seat, all this stuff, I had to take off 1.5 inches and come back. And then I was worried that this wouldn't actually slide in here for storage. So that became a thing. And so now it fits. So that's good. Do a costume change and just wood glue all over that shirt. All right, there we go. All right, next thing we need to do is come in there, test fit, and make sure that this final, where this is, and this are still the same. Always check that. Don't build too far into your van All right, Linda, thanks so much for watching. Glad you got a chance to hop on the live stream. That's really cool. All right, so we'll bring this back in the van. And yeah, don't build everything all at once because you're probably going to have to come back and do some changes. All right, so here is this. So this will just fit like a little puzzle piece. Bingo. Look at that. Very nice. So, just like we predicted, this piece right here, we'll need to cut a 4-inch piece and put that in there like that, because it's not square, that makes sense. That's what I was telling you guys about the wood. So I'm going to cut a 4-inch spacer. And the spacer is just going to keep everything square while we finish out the whole thing. Just like a placeholder. Okay, there we go. All right, so see how tight this is right here? So what we need to do is just take this little spacer, just gonna force it in here, just like that. Okay, so now this is all square. Okay, that piece is great. Everything's good. Okay, the tank looks good. Let's just push it forward. See where that made our back piece come to. All right, that's exactly where it's supposed to be. Who would have thought? Okay, so I need to drill that into place right now because the next step is, if you're watching this, the water tank's not the problem. The lagoon tables are the lagoon tables are the problem. They're what's creating all the chaos with getting them to hold themselves in there. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and screw this back part in. Now this one, we're not, this one back here is the one we want to be able to take out later if we need to. So extremely rare, but if we need to, we want to be able to work on this. All right, so that's there. Okay. And notice this is level, not that. So now we can actually take this piece of wood and we should be able to come straight across. Bingo, right there, right on top. Over 80/20, perfect. So that best back corner of the dinette right here is going to sit on that just perfect. Okay, so we've got our tank front to back located. The next thing that we're going to do is I need to go ahead and chop this off, because this is let's see here, maybe not just yet. Okay, so 4 inches. So our 2 pieces that are going to support the water tank, they're 4 inches. All right. So what we're doing that, we're trying to get the lagoon tables their space, because they're going to define where the tank supports are going to go. So we're going to do that right now. There'll be 2 2x4s down there, then 2 up here, then we'll just kind of be touching the tank. Then we'll put some felt pad on there, and then that will be our let's just do it, and then we'll figure out how it looks. Okay. So the way this is going to come in and out is now that back piece, we're just going to take it, and it's just going to pull out like that. It's going to have to lift up slightly. So like that. All right, so now you see we get this big puzzle piece. Okay. So I know I need to cut 4 4-inch pieces here. These are scrap. All right, 4 4 inches. And then we'll need 2 9 1/4. Okay. Got our cuts. So we're just going to put one lagoon table in. We're going to mark where it lands, and then we're going to slide it down to the other side. So these pieces that we just cut, hold on, let me change the camera. So these pieces we just cut, again, because we don't have enough room to have a solid piece go against the water tank, we're just going to have to go with these pieces essentially coming off of here, like that, and having these like that. So it serves two purposes. I know some people might think it's silly, but it's for the water tank, but it's also to divide these two tables so they're not flying back and forth in here. Okay, so we don't need this. This is our spacer. That way we don't use that. All right, let's get our table. So we got these tables from Panther RV. They come already bambooed, and the ones I got, the finish was a little dry. I've already moved this right here, so before I'm done, I'm going to slightly sand and just clear coat this. But yeah, so this table is going to go in here like this. I'm going to get a little 1/4 inch spacer. Let me cut this on the saw really quick. If you're building your van, keep some 1/2 inch, 3/4 scraps laying around. So kind of like what I just did, so that you can use these as spacers. So if we just put it back here in the back, and we draw a line right here, and we go ahead and put our 2x4 there. When we take this out, we're going to have a really nice resemblance of where we want to be fit-wise on this lagoon table. I'm still going to have to trim off 1/4 inch of this table and then just round it over because of the seat. We can't mess with the seat height of this dinette. So I'm just going to take this. Got that. I'll just mark this here. Okay, so that's our block number 1. And we're just going to take this and move it over here into the tank. This will be the end of where the lagoon table would be. Like that. Then I'll just mark it here. Okay, and I'm going to go by the inside marks. That outside one was just to, let's see here. Let's see what that looks like. So I want this one down here to be in this position. So I'm just going to mark it. Okay, so that one is this one. So I'll just double check, moving this over here. This one will be this one. So this will be 1, this will be 2. All right. So these will be right there. Okay. So I'll go back one more time because I need to make my mark up here at the top. Okay. So up here, this will be 3. That. And that'll be 4. So we will be able to yeah, we'll put these on here. These should be, why are those so off? So this is kind of going up, this is because this is like flared out a little bit. So when we clamp both of these down to put these middle ones in, what's most important right now are these outer pieces, like that. So that'll give us our spacing for the tables. And that way it's pretty cool. There's only an eighth of an inch on each side, and that's really going to hold in these tables. And they've only got like an eighth of an inch to get the post in. So they shouldn't rattle around or anything like that. What I could tell Jim and Linda to do is put a pillowcase around them and then just stuff them in here. That might be a good way to store it if it does rattle. Okay, so we're going to mark these blocks for their Craig screws. So these 2 are right there. These 2 right here. All right, and then numbers go on top. These 2 don't matter. And for you guys watching, always let me know if the audio sounds weird or something like that, because I won't be able to know until the stream's over. They make a Craig jig that's a hand clamp. I don't recommend that one. I recommend this tabletop mount. Okay, let's see. That is 3. Four. 1, 2. So I might. I'm gonna clamp the table in. With our spacer. All right, so that looks good. Now I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna flip this over because I changed my mind on how I'm gonna mount this. I'm gonna do this just so I know it's perfect. All right, I got some more people coming on the live stream. So we're building a Dinette bench that encloses the 36-gallon Northwest Conversions water tank. And we're also making these pockets here to slide in lagoon tables. So we have a storage location for 2 lagoon tables in here. And then at the back, we've got room here for our tank drain and our tank vent, and then this will be some additional storage in the van. I'm going to mute this audio just for a second. All right, we're back. So the reason I'm making a big deal about this is because this is where the hinge sits. Not the hinge, the lid. And we don't want to just spend all day sanding the difference here down. So. There you go. Much better. Okay. One side down. Let's see how much of an offset this middle is. I think this wants to lean out so much. I think we're going to, so what we'll do is we will lay this down on the corner of the table or flip it down, and we'll get these in there. So we'll get them to where they're even with the back. It might be on a slight angle offset, but when we tie this into the wall of the van, we should have it straight. I mean, technically we could just leave it like this. We don't have to have this support here. So I kind of want this support here, but I don't know. We'll think about it. So now if I take the spacer out, that pulls out nice and easy. Bring this down here. Extension. Van parked so close. Okay. All right, so that's great. So we got our extended piece, so that'll should allow us to get these screws in here nice and easy. Now I've turned the clutch off on my drill because I want these a little bit tighter. But it is possible to strip it if you got a real, really powerful drill. Okay. Question is to add these or not add these. First, let's see how it fits. Then we will decide. I want one up there. Maybe I don't need one up there. All right, the monstrosity is coming into completion. Let's go ahead and add our spacer before we get too excited. I'm going to add this piece here. Okay, so our middle piece is let's see what it is over here. So the goal was 24.5. We're just shy 1/8 of an inch. Pretty cool. So 24 and 3/8. 24 and 3/8. So can we get 24 and 3/8 back here? Yeah, so that is pretty much right in the money. Yeah, so the reason I'm doing this, I'll show you in just a second. is we got 24 inches at the top here. So 3/8 is what I need this to come in. Yeah, it's just on this back side. Okay, we got access to our water pump. We got access to our 2 tables. So 14 3/4. 14 3/4. And 2 9 1/4. Yeah, what I'm trying to do on this back end is I want to box this back end in because I want this cavity right here to be able to be used as storage. The only thing that's going to be in here is just going to be a drain line for the tank. So we extended this out from the original plan because we wanted to have 72 inches of sleeping area. So that's why we extended this out. And then same thing here, this will be boxed in, but the inside is how you're going to access this little cubby area, not from the top. Yeah, if we get this boxed in, this backside boxed in. Let's see, this needs to be 10 inches. What is this? Let's make this one 10. So come out 10. Inside is 14 3/4, 14 3/4. We get a 9 1/4. 9 1/4, 9, 14, 14. This will come out. Because what will happen is this is going to, it's going to be great, nice and flush on the bottom, but this is going to tilt in. So then it'll tell me what I can make over here for a bracket, so we can tie the front and the back in just to pull this top part in. Because we got a lot of strength going down for seating, as well as this way. Then I need to write down, I need an 1.5 inch plug for the water tank. All right, guys, I got my grocery list here that I need to put together. 1.5 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this up tonight. I'm going to go grab some food and then come back, because that's my goal. I need to get this done tonight. So I'm going to build this boxed-in frame over here, and then that way this will come out here. But then when we lift this, so what I have here, I'll show you. I'll show you what's happening. Got a big 72-inch hinge. Let's see if I can go grab it. It's over here on the wall. So I get a 72-inch hinge, and then I want it to go back far enough so that we can access this. So I think I want this to be, yeah. Okay, so our pump is going to be back here, mounted on the wall, just like that. So this hinge needs to be right there so that it can be drilled into this piece of wood. It's going to be this piece of Baltic birch that's going to be here in the back. So the way that's looking, let's see what the offset is, just to finalize our notes for tonight. So yeah, just like where the seat cushion came out, we're going to, so that piece of Baltic birch will be 4. So what we need, we want to be able to bolt this hinge into a nice piece of structure. So the Baltic birch is our structure, but as we come across the water tank, we won't have that structure. We'll be able to support this. So it looks to me like what we'll do is, instead of a 2x4 going vertical, we'll do a 2x4 going horizontal. So that'll bring this 4 inches out, 3 inches. So we'll bring this in 3 inches. So we got 4, 5, 6.5. So that way we can fit that 2x4 in there. So 6.5, I'll show you. We do 6.5, and the 2x4 is right there. Bingo, right there, just like that. So our piece of wood that we're going to cut for the top, the piece of Baltic birch, is going to be 7 1/4. Actually, hold on. So we got 3/4 of an inch for the hinge. Okay, so we got, that's 7 1/2. Seven and a half. Okay, so right at 7 1/2 plus 3/4, so 8 1/4. All right, that's what I'll figure out. That's where this hinge is going to be. So we'll have the support here for the back of the hinge, and then we'll add a support over there for the front of the hinge. So when you lift this up, you can get to the pump. You can also get to the strainer and the drain line at the top. You can still unbolt this. So you can access that, and then this will allow it so that you can still access it for storage. Okay, cool. It's going to work out just excellent. All right. All right, guys, let's see here. Wanted to, if you guys are new, wanted to show you the website. So we got 2 here. The company, my company that builds custom vans is Odyssey Custom Vans. So this is the website, odysseycustomvans.com. If you are looking to get your custom van built by me, you can click here on Get a Quote. It's going to pull up this fancy page. It's going to ask you some great questions. It's going to walk you through thoughts on building your van, what type of van are you looking for, what kind of traveling you're going to do. And at the end, it's going to allow you to go to a calendar where you can select a date and time to get on a phone consultation with me. It's completely free. We'll hop on the phone. We'll talk about your van build ideas. So that's Odyssey Custom Vans. But if you're a DIYer, Van Builder HQ, the YouTube channel you're watching right now, has all kinds of resources for you. Not only do we have a ton of blog articles that go through all kinds of topics on DIY camper van building, but I recently launched a course. So this is a course designed by me. It's a DIY camper van conversion course called the Camper Van Conversion Blueprint. It's only $50 to access it, and it has a ton of information. Getting started, choosing your van, design layout, off-grid power systems, fresh and gray water storage, insulating, sound dampening, and much, much more. It even has a video you won't find anywhere else walking you through an actual used van purchase. So a pre-purchase inspection on a used van that one of my customers was going to buy. They invited me to come out there and check the van out before they made the purchase. I found a couple of things that we could have fixed, but really the van was not in a great condition. It had a ton of rust at the bottom, had some mold in some hidden areas, so I advised them not to get that van. So there's a video in the course that walks you through that whole entire process. But yeah, it's only $50. And what's nice is we have a special running to where if you book this course today or you purchase this course today, you're going to get a free half-hour phone call with me to ask any question about your DIY van that you'd like to. That'll also be in the course too. Just ask for it. If you don't see that link, I'm going to copy the link right now. So this is the free phone call. I'm going to put it in the chat. So if you buy the course, this is where you want to book your call. But yeah, camper van conversion blueprint. I think it'll really help you guys out. Yeah, thanks so much for watching tonight. It's we're getting these long live streams. We're going to keep going until we knock out Lone Star. So I'm pretty excited. This is we got those cushions in from Rome Rest, so this is going to look great. I've already test fitted them earlier today, and was really happy with what they look like. So I'm going to, as a little special bonus for the end of the video and making it so far tonight, you guys get to see, once again, the custom cushions that I got made. So this is what it's going to go on here. Remember, we got a 1/2 inch overhang to make up for the edge of this right here. We got 5 inches of memory foam. It's in multiple different layers, so it's designed for sleeping, but it actually feels really good for, you kind of have to decide between two worlds, you know, if you're going to use it for sleeping or sitting. And this one is designed for sleeping. So this is what it's going to look like as soon as we, you know, clean everything up, get everything connected, put the panels on. So I'm really happy with the way this came out. The way we got this nice custom jog here. We got 72 inches of length. So I'm 6 feet tall. So if I come in here, I put my head right there. Now I've got my shoes on, but right there. So technically you can make this a day bed. That's kind of what we were going for with this, is that if you just wanted to take a nap, there was enough width here to lay down. But just like any other dinette, this is actually going to go over here in the middle. So you got double sides. This will go in the middle and bridge the gap. And then we got this fancy 80/20 pull-out drawer slides that are going to show you what that looks like anyway. So that's it, guys. Get subscribed to the channel. Click that subscribe button. Share this video if you know anybody that's doing a DIY conversion and they need some help. Live streams are throughout the week. You can hop on during the live stream. You can ask any question you want. That's what I'm here for. But if you have a question, put those in the comments below. We will be doing a video in the future answering all the recent YouTube comments and questions. So stay tuned for that. Have a great night, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Get subscribed, and we'll see you in the next live stream.